Bob Dylan once said, "The times they are a-changin'," and how right he was, as change is constant and always going on. For instance, the blues or soul music, once thought of as race music, even the devil's music, but in time morphed into jazz, R&B, pop, rock and roll, and even hip hop. Today, Al Smith is carrying on that tradition. Cannabis, once a societal taboo, has today gained a newfound respect. And the times, they are a-changin'.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get started. Let's make some noise for your host this evening. How about a warm cutting room welcome for Ron Barber?
Hey, hold on, guys. Before we start, does anybody have a light? My roach went out. Anyone? Okay.
The first thing we're going to do tonight is we're getting an education. We're going to learn from some people, pro and con, and get a little information about what's going on in New York City and New York State, and I guess in the country, with marijuana, the laws, and people that, partake, do not partake.
Come on, get down. Here we go. Clap your hands, cause Alvin's coming. 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 Chronic, doobie, reefer, ganja, grass, weed, marijuana. No matter the name, it's still the same. There's no medicine that's better than Mary Jane. It's for men, good events, improves your brain. Can't believe it's still illegal in the USA. THC helps HIV and epilepsy and PTSD. It's the truth. You cannot abuse it. Marley knew this, that's why he grew it. Since we got sheriffs, I will lock you up. You wanna walk around with weed, just don't walk into what? But thanks to Colorado, we all got a model to legalize it and vaporize it. So pass the split when you see Al split. Cause when I jam up, people say it's Reaper Madness. Clap your hands, Alvin's coming. Clap your hands, Alvin's coming. Clap your hands, Alvin's coming. Break it down now, clap your hands.
Alvin's coming.
Clap your hands.
Alvin's coming.
Clap your hands.
Alvin's coming.
Ladies and gentlemen, Al Smith, bring it on!
Alvin's coming. Alvin's coming. Alvin's coming. Oh.
Clap your hands! Clap your hands! Somebody say yeah.
So the first person we're going to bring up is a man who actually has never smoked a joint in his life.
That's actually true. I have spent most of my life avoiding marijuana. And actually, haven't had the smoke, haven't had the brownies, haven't had any of it. But I will say this. A lot of people, whatever my personal choices around this substance is, really is just my personal opinion. lots of people that I know, that I love, that I respect, not only partake of this product and of this substance, but I also know that there is some other incredible, powerful benefits, whether it's medical, medicinal, and it helps lots and lots of people. And so I wanted to be a part of not just this event, but of this movement, because I think that there's a really important conversation that's happening across the country and in New York State in particular around, well, what place does this have in our society? Who has access to it? Who should have access to it? Whether it is just for the use or for the business side of it. And I think that what this show is about, what Reefer Madness and Dispelling the Myth is about, is just an opportunity for all of us to be in conversation. Regardless of where you stand on the substance itself or the issue of legalization, I think that all of these things require conversation, no matter where we are, and learn about what Edutainment Presents is doing going forward. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Appreciate it.
Beautiful jacket.
Thank you very much. I just got it down in New Orleans at the Jazz Festival. There was some great music down there for 4 days. And I got to tell you, as great as that music was, the music tonight is just as good, if not better. Edutainment Presents is a media and entertainment company at the intersection of music, advocacy, and education. Our goal is to tackle some of the issues of today and dispel myths about them. Reefer Madness Dispelling the Myths is our kickoff event tonight on a multi-city tour to talk about and dispel the myths about medical marijuana and the movement today to legalize it across the country.
Y'all say it now. 1, 2, 3.
First myth that I'd like to dispel is that it's something new. Medical marijuana is talked about as something brand new in the last 25 years, and Time magazine calls attention to the fact that California first legalized it in 1996. The facts are a little different. Marijuana has been used for medical purposes for 4,000 years in China. Greece medical books talk about the benefits of it in 50 AD. In 1600, in England and in India, their medical books contained descriptions of the use of medical marijuana to address some of the same problems that it's used for today. And closer to home, in 1800, the medical books in Ireland and in the United States prescribed medical marijuana, and doctors could prescribe it legally. And it was legally prescribed up until around 1970. The research on the medical uses for marijuana for people over 65 is definitive. It works, and the only side effects, if you inhale too much, is a little bit of a sore throat or dry throat. Or if you take too many cookies, a little dizziness. 20, 30 years ago, I produced some music and shows at the Apollo Theater and Beekman Theater in New York and other theaters up and down the East Coast. And then as the ravages of age started to kick in, I stopped doing that because my joints were aching, my blood pressure was up, the doctors started putting stents in my heart. I had to start taking all kinds of medicine. I wound up taking about 13 pills a day. My oldest son is a medical researcher at the University of Arizona in immunology and cancer. And he got a hold of me one day and said he was not happy with the fact that I was taking so many pills and still going downhill. And told me about the research that they were doing on the benefits of cannabis. Result? I had, the doctors are no longer treating me for glaucoma and pressure in my eyes. My blood pressure is down. I don't have any achy joints. And like Eric said, I can still beat them at tennis. So if any of you are worried about getting help from medical marijuana, see your doctors and don't be afraid.
In the island, you got to do the dirt. You got to watch the work. Put your hands on your hips. Let the backbone clear. Do the what you say. Do the do say. Wow. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Y'all say it now. 1, 2, 3. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Ah!
I'm a Navy veteran, and I had left the military with a service-connected disability. Finally, after many years of mismanaged medical support, I was prescribed medical marijuana. And thankfully, I was living in Oregon at the time, and this was offered to me as kind of a last resort. The CBD in particular really helped to alleviate my symptoms almost overnight. And my appetite was increased so that I could get back to a healthy weight again. And I was finally able to resume my normal activities and really get back to life. Alfredo Bowman, otherwise known as Dr. Sebi, was an alternative healer of African descent living in Honduras, who had discovered some natural therapies by dealing with his own chronic physical conditions. My father took me to Honduras in the 90s when I was in my teens to meet with Dr. Sebi because we were both dealing in the alternative health industry and understood the importance of a alkaline and vegan diet. Dr. Sebi was a very learned man whose main goal in life was to help heal people with AIDS and cancer and debilitating diseases that could only be done with food and herbs and natural remedies, including cannabis. Dr. Sebi was later deemed as a quack and potentially eliminated because he rejected the medical establishment's views to cut out and radiate diseases that attack the body rather than to heal the source from within and do this with whole foods and natural remedies. In fact, if Dr. Sebi was still alive today, he would be recommending CBD or cannabis therapies to his patients and to anyone who is experiencing these debilitating diseases in order to help to bring them back to a state of health and a holistic level of being.
Going on a tour, possibly about 26 major cities. And when that's over, I'm sure you're going to be happy to know that you've been a part of the launch of something like this.
Hemp played a major historical role in the production of textiles like paper, paint, banknotes, and even Levi's jeans, and the Declaration of Independence was created on hemp. Hemp was a bit difficult to cultivate, but so was cotton until Eli Whitney invented the cotton gin in 1793. In the 1930s, DuPont and other large companies with a vested interest in the petroleum-based synthetic textiles and the cotton industry as a whole, they promoted a lot of propaganda against hemp and its safe and effective uses. And although an invention by George Schlichten to increase the cultivation or the speed of the cultivation of hemp back in 1917 was invented and created, that machine mysteriously disappeared. And back in 1936, a movie or quasi-documentary by the name of Reefer Madness was released that showed a ridiculous portrayal of people having dancing sex parties and professional adults selling weed to kids and people killing each other with cars and guns, and it was just a complete fabrication of reality. And this propaganda was forced onto everybody, and in fact many people growing up in the 60s and 70s and even 80s were forced to watch this show in grade school and high school, and this information and this idea was forced onto them and onto their parents, and it just created a snowball effect of anti-hemp and pro-cotton. And from that point on, we're still dealing with that today.
These high school boys and girls are having a hop at the local soda fountain. Innocently they dance. Innocent of a new and deadly menace lurking behind closed doors. Marijuana, the burning weed with its roots in hell. In this film, you will see the ease with which this vicious plant can be grown in your neighbor's yard, rolled into harmless-looking cigarettes, hidden in an innocent shoe or watch case.
If you want a good smoke, try one of these.
You will meet Bill, who once took pride in his strong will as he takes the first step toward enslavement.
Of course, if you're afraid.
Smoking the soul-destroying reefer, they find a moment's pleasure, but at a terrible price. Debauchery, violence, ultimate end of the marijuana addict. Hopeless insanity. See this important film now, before it is too late.
We wish to dispel the negative portrayal of marijuana in today's society. Reefer Madness was a 1936 film, sponsored by a church group, and meant to scare parents by creating a fictionalized and completely untrue account of the effects of using marijuana. Intended as a cautionary and educational video, Reefer Madness offered a hyperbolic look at the effects of marijuana. On the contrary, however, Reefer Madness is unreliable propaganda meant to mislead the public. It is no longer relevant today, and in fact, was never relevant at all. Thanks to the thought leaders, professionals, and activists in this industry, society is finally changing its biased view of the plant. Research into the health benefits of cannabis was limited for decades, caused by the government's mislabeling of it as a Schedule I drug and the portraying of cannabis as dangerous as heroin and cocaine. Finally, society is recognizing marijuana's health benefits and acknowledging the clear results of medical research. It is only a matter of time until realization of the limitless benefits of this miracle plant are widespread. Let's not give in to people who refuse to recognize reality. At Chromatic Clouds, we pledge to continue to put our efforts and resources into providing access to world-class research, disseminating leading-edge information, and facilitating resources essential to the cannabis industry. We encourage you to look us up and join us if you like what we do. Chromatic Clouds would like to thank everyone for viewing this historically relevant, entertaining, and very important film. We would also like to thank the crew at Edutainment Presents for putting on this wonderful production and for allowing us to contribute to this project.
We have a little bit of a cliffhanger over here. I understand that with this kind of cannabis education, you stumbled upon a riddle that many people don't know about Bob Marley and the song "I Shot the Sheriff."
Yeah, that happened with a conversation on the phone with Sam McKeith. He said, well, why don't you do a song like Bob Marley? I said, yeah, but which one? He says, well, I think you should do I Shot the Sheriff. I said, what are you talking about? I shot the sheriff. That has nothing to do with cannabis. He said, you want to bet? And he went and got the lyrics. And sure enough, now here's the riddle, everybody. In the song I Shot the Sheriff, what caused Bob Marley to have to shoot the sheriff in self-defense? I shot the sheriff, but I did not shoot the deputy. I shot the sheriff, but I swear it wasn't self-defense. Sheriff John Brown, he hated me for what I do not know. Every time I planted a seed, he said, kill it before it grows. He said, kill it before it grows. And I said, I shot the sheriff, but I did not shoot the deputy. No, no. I shot the sheriff, but I swear it wasn't self-defense. I shot the sheriff, but I did not shoot the deputy. I shot the sheriff, but I did not shoot the deputies. My biggest compliments when people says, Al, your tracks, you sound, man, they call me the band killer. Like I said, I try to make my tracks sound very light, because they are light, because I'm playing pretty much all the instruments. I'm using the Voice Live 3, so my harmonies are actually being generated in real time.
My heart went out to play in a game. I lost you. What a
Well, soul music, which was once considered race music, and the cannabis movement are related in the fact they both had a stigma at one time. So now here we are talking about cannabis in a favorable way as far as the way the medical profession is now using it to heal people. I'm glad to be a part of that. What inspired me to do a presentation using entertainment and education was actually the film Woodstock, because I appreciated what the producers did to capture the spirit of an era. Now we're in a time period where cannabis is being considered seriously as a healing plant in the medical field, and as well as doing its job to erase the stigma that's been attached to it, and the many musicians and artists who are vilified for using it.
Mississippi, St. Louis, Chicago, where we find them playing them blues. David King to Robin Johnson, let's just not they pay their dues. Now I tell myself that something's wrong every time I hear my favorite song. Got to find a way to make it right. We can make it happen if we try. Hey, you, what you gonna do? Hey, you, credit's due. Let's give some credit, it belongs. Memphis, Georgia, Carolina, way down south to Muscle Shoals. Davis burnt to racial music. Now it's music we call soul. Hit me. Now I tell myself that something's wrong every time I hear my favorite song. Got to find a way to make it right. We can make it happen if we try. Hey, you, what you gonna do? Hey, you, and it's good. Let's get some credit, it belongs.
Hi, I'm Sam McKee, a former William Morris music agent. And during my time at the agency, I was the personal agent for Stevie Wonder, Bruce Springsteen, Teddy Pendergrass, and a lot of other people.
What's this thing called rockin'? Raise your hands if you know the answer. Chuck Berry, Little Richard, they like to know. Woo! Now I tell myself that something's wrong every time I hear my favorite song. Got to find a way to make it right. We can make it happen. Hey, you, what you gonna do? Hey, you, credit is due. Let's give some credit, it belongs. Hey, you, what you gonna do? Hey, you, credit is due. Let's give some credit, it belongs. Let's get some credit where it belongs. Ask the Rolling Stones, you could ask Elvis Presley, the Beatles know. I'm telling the truth right here. Rod Stewart, Steve Perry, all the way to Led Zeppelin. Let's get some credit, it belongs. Let's get some credit where it belongs.
conversation I once had with Ken Roberts. He was the manager at the time of Sly and the Family Stone, a real super heavy group back in the 70s. We were talking about Al Smith. He just popped into the conversation. Ken was thinking about having Al work with Sly. I had seen Al do some things myself, and somehow or another, we ended up talking about it. We actually agreed that if anyone were ever to succeed Sly, that it would probably be a guy like Al Smith.
Walking, 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 walking in the street. I'm talking in the street. Things are not what go on. Things start happening bad. All I have to hold on to simple song, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Now I know what time it is. Every time I hear my favorite song, got to find a way to make it right. We can make it happen if we try. Everybody, hey you, what you gonna do? Hey you, play this tune. Let's get some credit, it belongs. Hey you, what you gonna do? Hey you, play this tune. Let's get some credit, it belongs. Let's get some credit with it.
Good day, everyone. My name is Dr. Thomas O'Brien. I am a residency-trained family physician, and I'm certified in medical marijuana. It is an honor and a privilege to be part of this program today. Today's topic of discussion is the benefits of medical marijuana. Medical marijuana is cannabis. It is marijuana. However, it's marijuana used for medicinal purposes. Marijuana has 400 chemicals. Within 400 chemicals, there are 113 cannabinoids. Of the 113 cannabinoids, there are 70 that have medicinal properties. The two main cannabinoids that we focus on is tetrahydrocannabinol, THC, and cannabidiol, CBD. Both of these chemicals look identical. However, CBD is lacking one bond. Since it's lacking one bond, the characteristics are different. Since the characteristics are different, it has a different receptor. The receptor for THC is CB1. Those receptors are primarily found in the central nervous system. CBD, cannabinol, has CB2 receptors. Those receptors are not found in the central nervous system. They are found in the GI tract, immune system, adipose tissue, as well as smooth muscle. THC has neuropathic pain relief, cancer-killing properties, appetite stimulant, as well as good for sedation. CBD has excellent anti-inflammatory properties. It has anti-angiogenesis properties, which help choke out and kill cancer cells, as well as anti-spasmodic properties. As I stated earlier, I am certified for the state of New York to prescribe medical marijuana. About 5 years ago, a colleague of mine suggested that I learn about the benefits of medical marijuana. After discovering the benefits of medical marijuana, I felt that this worked well and aligned with the way I practice medicine. I take a holistic approach to patient care. I try to keep the medications down to a minimum. With medications, the first thing we learned in pharmacology is first statement out of the physician's mouth was, all drugs are poison. We just use the specific drug for a specific function. So when I heard that, it really blew me away. It took me back, and I was like, wow, a poison drug? It's a doctor prescribing it. How could it be a poison? So knowing this, I try to treat medical conditions natural. And when I discovered that this was natural and I can make a difference, I felt that it aligned well with my style of practice. In January 2015, I was the first physician in the state of New York to open up a practice full-time in New York City. My office is located on the Upper East Side of New York City. Majority of my patients, it was a full spectrum, all the conditions of what New York State allows, which is what we call qualifying condition. As my practice has matured, I've certified over 1,200 patients, and majority of my patients suffer from chronic pain, neuropathic pain, or chronic pain in general. So these patients are very sick. They are not drug seekers. They come to me to get off narcotics. Almost all of my patients with chronic pain are on narcotics, and it has changed their brain chemistry, it has changed their behavior, and they do not want to be on it. That's the first statement. They say, I don't want to be on narcotics anymore. So I just ask them, give me a few weeks, a few months, and I can have you off the narcotics and make sure your pain is down so you're comfortable and functional. After 4.5 years, I'm very successful. As I stated, I certified over 1,200 patients, very successful. I even have a survey, a personal survey that I have, and I know the exact statistics of my success rate, and that's what led me to write a book. So if you wanted to learn more about medical marijuana and its success stories, you can go online to Amazon.com and put in Dr. Thomas G. O'Brien II and my book on medical marijuana, true life success stories, and I discuss the benefits of medical marijuana and how well my patients are doing.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for two.
So 7 years ago, I got Hodgkin's lymphoma. It was unexpected, obviously. And before that, I was a cannabis consumer, I guess would say recreationally. And I got cancer, freaked out. The first thing my doctor says to me is, don't consume cannabis. It has mold, it could kill you, you're gonna have all these issues because you're taking chemotherapy and radiation. So me, not knowing any better, stopped using cannabis and started taking oxycodone and Ambien to deal with all the pain from all the chemotherapy and all the constant shots that I was getting and needles that I was getting. So after 2 months or 3 months of being a zombie, I decided that I was gonna start consuming cannabis against my doctor's orders. And it was the best decision I made. I gained weight. You have a question? No, I love you. Oh, I love you too. I'm like, is there a Q&A part of this? Yeah. So, and I'll tell you why I stopped taking the Ambien and the Oxycontin, by the way. So I had, at that point, my daughter was about 12, 13, and my son was 3. And I started taking these pills over and over again, and you build the tolerance. And then one night, I took my Ambien, I took my cocktail, my Ambien and my oxycodone, and I sat on the couch, and I blinked, and when I opened my eyes, it was the next day. It was, I think, 2 o'clock the next day, and I was like, what happened? My wife said, what do you mean? You were walking around happy, smiling, you were having a great time. And that scared the shit out of me. Can we curse here? Okay, cool. All right. So that scared the shit out of me. And I went back to consuming cannabis, gained weight. Now, I was taking cannabis in conjunction with chemotherapy and radiation, so I can't technically state the claim that cannabis cured me. However, it did a much better job than taking pharmaceutical drugs at that point.
Imagine all the people living life in peace.
And then throughout my journey, I decided that not only did I want to be a patient advocate, but I wanted to advocate for the business. And when I mean advocate for the business, I mean advocate for the business in a way where it really benefits patients, where we have the best possible talent out there studying this plant and bringing their ideas and their technical skills to this industry that is brand new. And that's where Leaf Launch was born. Before this, many years ago, I was a teacher in New York City. I taught for about 4 years in New York City, PS 175 in Harlem, and then I taught 4 years in New Jersey. So I have an education background, and I decided, hey, listen, one of the things that patients are lacking is the best possible medicine, and not only that, they're lacking the best possible talent to deliver the best possible product. So that is the genesis of Leaf Launch. It's an accelerator that we're starting in New Jersey. We're New Jersey-based residents, and Leo will fill you in on all the exciting things that are going on in New Jersey. But our goal with Leaf Launch is to bring in the best possible talent and help them develop their business so it benefits all these patients that need this medicine. So I appreciate you guys. I don't know if there's a Q&A section, but thank you for the time. And like I always say, cannabis brought me to some strange places, and this is one of the great ones. Thank you.
They say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. Someday they will join us, and the world will live as one.
Thank you.
I think it's important that we kind of give homage and support and respect to some of the people who came before us. So I take that and with my own spin to it and kind of take it and, you know, put my own signature to it.
Something that goes like this. What you want, babe, I got it. What you need, you know I got it. All I want is a little bit of respect. Just a little bit, just a little bit of respect. Just a little bit, just a little bit. Gonna do you wrong when you're gone. I ain't gonna do you wrong. I don't wanna. All I want is a little bit of respect. Just a little bit, just a little bit of respect. Just a little bit, just a little bit. Your kisses are sweet as honey. Yes, but baby, so sweet, honey. I just wanna give you my proudest, please, 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 hey. When I get home, just a little bit, just a little bit. R-E-S-P-E-C-T, I know what it means to me. R-E-S-P-E-C-T, get down to DCB. Stop me, stop me, stop me. Stop me, stop me, stop me, yeah. Just a little bit. Wow. Now, for those of you who still heard this song before, you know the deal. See, you can't go to a wedding, you can't go to a bar mitzvah, you can't go to a cookout, you know, Leroy's cookout. Hey, Leroy! You
can't do any of that stuff. And if there's a band there, and they got the girls in the group, or girls and ladies like these pretty ones here, you know they gotta sing this song, right? You know they gotta sing the song. And those of you who are musicians, you know the deal. But see, when we have to sing the song, that's when your lady grabs you and says, "Come, ooh, that's my song." She grabs you and gets you out on the dance floor, fellas. You know what I'm talking about, guys. She says, "Come on, I wanna dance, this is my song." Then what happens, guys? She gets you out on the dance floor and she's moving and grooving, right? And she's doing her thing. And she said, "Ooh, honey, that's my song, baby." That's right, respect. Now you know what happened to us guys, right? Here we go. Because she's carried on and whatnot. But I got something to tell you here. Now fellas, listen up to this very carefully. See, the ladies have taken this song and made it the women's anthem. Did they not? Come on, girls, say yeah. Come on. You know you ladies be walking around singing respect. God dog it, right? Clap your hands, y'all. Now listen up. Oh yeah. But I got news for you today. Oh, that's right, I got news for you today. Now don't get mad with me when I tell you this. I'm just bringing the news. Don't kill the messenger. This is a man's song. I'll explain why I say that. Now, who can tell me who wrote the song? That's right. But for those of you who didn't know, let me give you a little hint. He was sitting on the dock of the bay. Right? Oh, yeah. He said, "Try a little tenderness. You gotta. You know what I'm talking about. Who am I talking about? That's right. None other than Otis Redding. Oh yeah, Mr. Soul himself. But there's a problem with that. See, you don't remember this song by Otis Redding, now do you? Why is that? Why is that? Because Aretha, a lady by the name of Aretha, took this song and you know the rest is history. And ever since then, the ladies have taken this song and have been hijacking what Otis was trying to say. So let's include everybody, the ladies and the fellas. Can I get everybody to join in and demand some respect? Can we all do that? So clap your hands.
Like I said, Nagy was a handshake. I shook a hand a few minutes while we were doing sound check the day of, and so she came out wailing with her sax, man. You know?
morning sun. I'll be sitting when the
There was someone actually that was supposed to join me from Florida. She's like a Janis Joplin keyboard player and whatnot. And we worked very well together. But at the last minute, she couldn't, things just wasn't working out. So I called a good friend of mine, John Henderson, who called Marla Adler, who I call my go-to girl. She's got on the phone, and so that's when they got a hold of Chloe and Ariana. So we got together, we went over the stuff once, and there you go. And it sounds like we've been together forever. I mean, it was such a nice blend. It was a magical night.
Like I said again, my name's Leo Bridgewater. I'm one of the co-founding members of the New Jersey Cannabis Commission, and I'm also the New Jersey and New York chapter president for Minorities for Medical Marijuana. I've completed, thank you. I'm also one of the 3 veterans who testified in Senate committee to have post-traumatic stress disorder added to the state's medical marijuana program. Thank you, my honor. And last September, Governor Christie signed our bill into law. And so what's been happening since? Well, you guys all know we now have a governor who's been pushing for the legalization for adult use cannabis. So we're in a unique position because as a state, New Jersey's poised to be the second state in the history of this country to legislatively legalize cannabis. Now, what does that mean? Right now, the industry is in such an infant stage that there isn't even an industry standard unit of measurement yet.
Yeah, I left my home in Georgia. I'm headed for the Frisco Bay. You snap with me, 'cause I got nothing to live for, and nothing's gonna come my way. Yeah, I'm gonna sit on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. I'm gonna sit on the dock of the bay, wasting time. It looks like nothing's gonna change. Everything still remains the same. I can't do what 10 people tell me to do, so I guess I remain the same. Sitting here resting my bones. You know this loneliness won't leave me alone.
Evidenced by the majority upper echelon ownership and positions within this industry are occupied by middle-aged to older white men. That's a sign of chaos. And so it is. And here's the other thing too, because this industry has not been kind to black and brown people and women. During this legislative process in trying to get things kicked off in New Jersey, we actually found out, because of our bill, we found out that in New Jersey, women are not considered a protected minority, according to the state constitution. They're a minority, but not a protected minority. So this legalization effort has uncovered a lot of stuff. The industry's best days are ahead of it, and they have gotten brighter, and the reason being is because I don't know what's going on, but women have taken this thing by the throat. And the thing is that, see, I was raised by a single mom, a single parent mom, and she raised me and my 2 sisters all by herself. So growing up, it was never a thing for me to see a woman in a leadership position. In fact, I think chicks get a bad rap because when they're young and they know exactly what they do, they get labeled bossy. But if a little boy did the same thing, he'd be later labeled a natural leader. But see, that's wrong. That's wrong. It's not what's between your legs, it's what's up here. So I've never had an issue with acquiescing to the leadership of a woman. It doesn't bother me. I've seen one of the strongest people in the world handle 3 by herself, my mom. That being said, we're also with legislatively legalizing cannabis, it puts women and black and brown people in a very unique position. We could actually right a very terrible wrong. In the state of New Jersey, we average about 25,000 arrests for marijuana possession. And 80% of them look like me. So we have a police culture issue. That's what's going on. It's a police culture issue. That's better because I can see now. 25,000 arrests, and 2/3 of them look like me. So that means you're going to build this industry on my back, turn around, make a buck off of it, and then lock me out? Oh, you must be out your rabbit ass mind. I'm from Jersey. New Jersey starts off number 2 behind California. I'm from Trenton, New Jersey. That's where I live. And within a 150 square mile radius, we have access to over 27 million people. Our state has a population of 9 million people, 100 million visitors a year, okay? Now, we're sandwiched between Pennsylvania and New York, who only has medical marijuana. What you think gonna happen when we go live for adult use? Where do you think all them people in New York gonna go get they weed from? Where do you think all them people in Philly gonna go get their stuff from? Yeah. Now, ain't no way in hell y'all gonna let us get away with making that much money for that long. You're welcome, New York. We just fast forwarded your whole cannabis legalization effort. That's exactly what we did. Now, what Ronnie was trying to tell you with Leaf Launch, see, Ronnie and I, because we're advocating so much, helping Cory Booker with his Marijuana Justice Reform Act, trying to get some more teeth to it, we all know this is coming. This train has left the building. So I'm not gonna stand here and get into a therapy session with you and talk about how I'm at 5 friends who attempted suicide and 4 was successful. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you how I had to talk one friend down and that something happened to me. I see your light, I see you. But this is the thing. When it comes to veterans, that's that line that most of y'all won't cross, because here's the thing, you're at 22 veteran suicides a day. Half of them are the Vietnam veterans. They're still doing themselves. We are now at 130,000 Vietnam veterans who came home and committed suicide, and only 58,000 died in the war. And y'all paid for that with your taxes. You paid for it. You also paid because the Nixon administration, I'm actually one of the named plaintiffs in the Jeff Sessions lawsuit, the Nixon administration used this to get at black people and hippies. And you paid for it. Matter of fact, you know what else they did with your money? 6350507. You know what that is? That's the patent number that y'all paid for CBD back in the 70s, so they knew this was working. See, when you talk cannabis legalization in New Jersey, you messing with the bottom line of 3 industries. The pharmaceutical industry, that's old money. They've been working in the state for generations. The alcohol industry, that's long money. They've been working in the state of New Jersey for generations. And the prison industrial complex, that's big money. So we're gonna have this conversation. All of us gonna have to get naked up in this motherfucker. For real. It is time. Now, if you wanna find me, because my man is getting nervous and he want me to go, so if you wanna find me, you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Leo Bridgewater, all that, yeah. You can find me. You can find me on LinkedIn at the same thing. Ronnie and I are now at the point where we're not gonna argue about this stuff. We're gonna talk, we're gonna just, everybody talking about the industry, okay, we just gonna be the industry. And it's gonna be reflective of the people whose backs has been built on. I'm not mad, I'm past mad. This is marching orders time. We've built the pipeline, Leaf Launch. Through advocacy is how the business has revealed itself. And there's a lot of little funky stuff going on about this industry, and we're gonna right that wrong right now. Thank you for having us. Thank you, Al, this has been great. I apologize if I came off a little too strong, but I'm coming from a place where it's all about love. Thank you.
Anything can happen about that. This is one of those good girls that sells like that white girl. One of those good girls. That's the beat. Styling, riding, living on the sea. Got shots on and singing along. And that's so pretty. Too hot. Hot damn. The fireman too hot, hot damn. Back on the time man too hot, hot damn. Favorite song. Got to find a way to make it right. We can make it happen if we try. That you, what you gonna do? That you, and it's good. Let's get some crack. It belongs. What's this thing called rockin'? Raise your hands if you know the answer. Chuck Berry, Little Richard, they like to know. Woo! Now I tell myself that something's wrong every time I hear my favorite song.